of God is not designed to be a mystery. Rather, it is designed to be known, and ultimately where accurate partnership is supplied, the will of God is designed to be experienced. What's your name, man? Sit down, sit down, sit down. What did you call your name? Amarachi. What does Amarachi mean? The grace of God. Okay. You may not know what will happen in 10 years' time, and it's not necessary. I don't have a 2-year plan. It's not. You see, there are many things that have become very important that are not important. I was teaching in Benin last week. I told them, you don't need to know your purpose. And the look on everybody's face was like, what you just touched on is the biggest problem that youth coppers have. I said, you don't need to know your purpose, because if you don't know your purpose, you are like a blind man. Am I right? But a blind man can cross the road successfully. All he needs to do is to look for a hand of a trusted ally. So I said, if you don't know your purpose, if you know the Holy Ghost, you will survive. Because what some people know is what will happen in 5 years. Some of us know only what will happen tomorrow. So as long as we stay with the routine of engaging for every new tomorrow, when we show up in 5 years, we will have lived through purpose without knowing the statement of purpose. It means that when you wake up tomorrow, if you go to God knowing that His will is not designed to be a mystery, and you say, what are we doing today? He will give you enough information to survive 24 hours. And when you come on Monday, you will need to ask that question again. Actually, you see, the will of God was not designed to be known at once. The design is that the man who comes to God seeking, should I help? Comes to God seeking His will is allocated seasons of spirit communications, so that he can tell you, go to Lagos. And if you are waiting for him to tell you what to do in Lagos before you go to Lagos, you already been living in disobedience. So what we have learned to do is that we sheepishly follow every single instruction He gives us, even though we don't have an end. When Abraham left his father's house, it was a journey from convenience into the unknown. And every man who has been called to walk that same walk of faith will journey that same way. We were not designed in our Christian walk to be able to fully discern our end point. If not, faith will not be necessary, and manipulations will be many. Because if God told you that you are going to be South Africa's next minister, you will be living around the South African embassy, trying to lobby everybody that has something to do in South Africa so that you can go there. The will of God is not designed to be a mystery, but its delivery to the believer is designed to keep the believer dependent on God. So that when you get to Lagos and you drop down at Ojota or Bega, the consciousness that now you can become stranded will make you ask the Lord again, now I'm in Lagos, what do I do? He will say, go to Ogba. How many of you are from Lagos? If you drop at Ogba bus stop, it's still a jungle. And then you say, where do I go from here? And then he tells you what to do. That's how I got my first job, post-youth service. When I got to Lagos, I was living in Ogba, around the Excellence Hotel. And I would trek because I had finished spending my NYSC money. You people are anywhere. Who were earning 9.5. The bank was taking 300. So I was earning 9.2. And by the time I came from youth service, after 2 months, I had become a papa. Living with my aunt, I would wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to look for work. And I'll trek from my house to Ikeja under bridge. Everything they paste on the wall, I drop a CV. Until in trying, I could no longer afford airtime. So I bound myself to a cafe owner. The guy has a government job, so I'm the one who generates password in his cafe. It was not for a salary. It was just so that I could apply for jobs. Stay with me. One morning, as I was under the shower, I heard Jesus say to me, after a long time, you know, God can wait. And if you choose to waste your time, He can allow you waste your time. So that morning he said, today you will not go to Ogba. I said, or go to Ikeja. You will go to Apapa. And I'd only heard Apapa by name. I didn't know the direction. So I had to go to borrowed some money from my cousin who was working in MTN. And I took a bus to Ojuelegba. I heard them shouting at Papa, but the great one said Ojuelegba. That means he decided to break his counsel into pieces. Stay with me. I'm about entering where we'll pray. When I got to Ojuelegba was not good that time. Your phone could be stolen, your cap could be stolen, even your shoes could be stolen. And if you are not strong enough, you will be lost. Was that kind of jungle that you could be standing beside another person, they are robbing that person, and the design is that you act like life is normal. If the person shouts thief, you are not supposed to echo it. In the blues, a young man came out. His name was Shegun. He said, "You're on your way to Papa to look for work." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Follow me." Now, so I began to follow him. We entered the bus. He paid for two of us. And when we drove through Wharf Road in Apapa, he pointed to a building. I said, "There's an oil servicing company there. When you get there, tell the owner, my name is Shegun, that I used to work for him. He should give you a job." So I dropped at front of number 22 Wharf Road. I still remember. And I stepped into the company, Agro Energies. And I met the owner of the company. Shegun said, "You should give me a job." Shegun gave me his phone number, and till today, Shegun's phone number has never connected. Never connected. So the man for the first few days said he was not going to give me a job, but I went back again. And on the third day he said, "Don't worry, there's no job." That day I had no transport fare to go back to Ogba. To trek is to die. Stay with me. I was at the mercy of the continuous communication of the Holy Ghost. Instead of leaving, I looked at him one more time because that was what I heard. Ask him again. I said, "Sir, I want a job here. I studied chemical engineering. You need a plant design engineer." And as I was going out, he said to me, "God just told me that you don't have transport fare." So he gave me 4,000 naira. That was more than enough I needed just about 300 naira to get home. And that same night he called me to resume on Monday. So that's how I got my first job. The desire of God is to get you into certain places, is to give you certain things. However, the one who has been called to journey with God must understand that it is impossible for a mortal to embody the fullness of the will of God at once. So, what God has done is to break down his will into seasons of spiritual emphasis. Somebody say spiritual emphasis.